Hello, welcome back. There is a discussion going on forever now, and this discussion comes up every now and then, but the discussion stays. And I thought I will do a video about it and give you my personal opinion. My personal opinion about the topic of 33 1/3 against 45 RPM. And there is no other label, in my opinion, where you can do it better than with the Analogue Production records, because they have so many records that are available in 33 1/3 and 45. So I thought I'd dig in a little into this, because I have quite some releases in both versions, did some comparisons, and share my opinion, my impressions about it. And while I did that, I really realized something, and I want to start with it. What makes the 45 RPM versions quite often really interesting. And this is the fact that a lot of albums has a very important, the song of the album. And those songs are quite often on one side, only this song on one side of the album, which is special, which is great. I get a little bit deeper why this is the case a little later when I compare them, and then it might become clear why this is so special. But I want to go briefly through those songs. One of them is Tin Pan Alley on the Stevie Ray Vaughan 45 RPM version of Couldn't Stand the Weather. And on this release you have, in my favorite song of the album, on one side. Another example is Lynyrd Skynyrd, pronounced Lynyrd Skynyrd. They have on side 4, you have Freebird. Fantastic song on a fantastic album. Also one of these examples. And then you have very special 45 RPM versions. For example, I put out 2. For example, Herbie Hancock's Headhunter, the 45 RPM version, has on each side one song. Another example where you have the same is the fantastic Masterpieces by Ellington. Again, you have one song on each side. And why is this so special? Before we get into other examples, into direct comparisons of the 33 1/3 and the 45s, why is this special? And then we go also now into the advantage of a 45 RPM. The easiest advantage is, of course, very convenient. You put the record with the song, the main song, Time Out, Dave Brubeck. We go a bit deeper into this release in a minute. One side, you put it on, people can listen to it, you can demonstrate it in its perfect way, and then go on with the next song. This is a convenience advantage, but also sound-wise. The 45 RPM in general, if there hasn't happened anything strange, is in general the better sounding version. Of course, how much better, of course, strongly also depends on your system. The better your system, the more you can hear the differences. The differences technically probably comes due to the fact that you have the wider groove. There's simply more space. And of course, there are certain regions of a record where the record, due to physical laws, sounds better. And you can see sometimes you have this much dead wax. And in the area at the beginning where the record sounds the best, you have the music. This is also due to this skating effect, where the you know, the more you come to the dead wax, the harder this skating effect is, which diminishes the sound of a record. So when you have a 45 RPM version, then of course you have all the advantages of the space, and if that is done correct, you have the best sounding versions. And now, you know, decades ago they even went farther. Excuse me. Maybe some of you remember classic records. They even did 45 RPM versions, single-sided, so that they get a very flat profile. And I have the Buena Vista Social Club in this version, and it sounds fantastic. I don't know. Nowadays they don't do this anymore. Maybe this is also a bit overkill. But yeah, it sounds amazing, and so does those 45 RPMs. That being said, of course, the 33 and a third has their advantages too. Let's start with one example. The Shelby Lynn, Just a Little Lovin'. Here we have the 45, and here we have the 33 as a single jacket release. Why do I show this? Because this Just a Little Lovin' is a great record to set up your speakers, because her voice, Shelby Lynn's voice on this album, is so dead centered that it's a perfect example to set up the soundstage of your speakers. And this goes in both directions. You can do this with the 33 and a third, and you can do it with the 45 RPM. We have this dead centered soundstage on both versions. Another very famous release where you have the two options is the Dave Brubeck Time Out. You have a 33 and a third and the 45 RPM version. Yeah, the 45 RPM version is the fuller. You have from everything, you have a tad more. How much more, as I said at the beginning, depends on your system. The advantages of the 33 in general, might let it be the Dave Brubeck Time Out, let it be the Muddy Waters Folk Singer that you can have in both versions, are of course the price. The 33 and a third version is not as expensive as the 45 version. And the convenience factor. And don't underestimate that from every now and then. And this is one of the reasons why I have, in general, whenever possible, both versions. If you have a visitor, if you just want to listen to the record and don't want to dive into it, dig into it, want to sit there and really listen to it, you just want to put it on, talk to somebody, have a conversation or what, the 33 and a third is the way more convenient, of course. You put it on, and there it is, and then you turn it off, turn it around when the record is at the end, which is half that often than you have it with the 45 RPM. And when we discussed this in the OBC Discord, there was a nice comment, and somehow he is also correct, and he said, you know, for me, the 33 and third of those releases, they sound good enough, and somewhat I have to agree, they sound also amazing, of course. If you want to have the last percentage out of the record, the 45 RPM is of course the choice. And then there is another argument where I don't agree. There is quite often the argument that the flow of the 33 and a third is the way the artist has intended it to be. I have my doubts, because also with the 33 1/3 you have to stick to the format, and you can't do it this long. You know, if you say this is the main reason for me, then the CD is a perfect format, because then you have the complete flow. I think that they also, when it comes to the vinyl, you can only do this much of, you only can put this much of information on a 33 1/3, more than on a 45 RPM, of course, no doubt about that, but still. So this argument that this is the way the artist has intended it, I don't know, because he also was forced to do it in a certain way. But this is probably a topic which is worth discussion, which is worth a lot of discussion. So let's do that in the comment section down below. Yeah. So my take, the better sounding version so far, as I said, if they don't do something seriously wrong, the 45 RPM is the superior version sound-wise. The big advantages of the 33 1/3 are the convenience, the price, and they still sound, in the case of Analogue Production, they still sound, of course, amazing. Amazing. What I also do like is that in most cases the Shelby Lynn is an exception. I think the Herbie Hancock is an exception, but often they are also in a gatefold jacket. Oh, here's the 45, took the wrong. Also the 33 1/3 are in gatefold jackets, which of course is, when it comes to my taste, the way to go. I love those gatefolds. And then of course you have the 33 1/3 double albums. For example, the fantastic, amazing Royal Ballet, Gala Performance, Ernest Ansermet. And if you want to have those as a 45 RPM, you have to dig into real box sets, because of course double album in general means 4 records, which is quite something. And very interesting, the 45 version of this one, of the Royal Ballet, one of the most beautiful classic records you will ever listen to. The 45 version has 5 records, if I remember correctly, and on the last side they put side 1 again, which is an amazing service if you consider that probably side 1 is in general the most played side, and so if you have it again on the last one, this is a huge advantage and a very nice idea. Great thinking of the team over at Analogue Production. Yeah, so this is my brief take on this topic, and of course this is, like always, not a final judgment and this is how it is. This is of course a topic open for discussion, open for different experiences and different opinions, of course. I just wanna cover this also due to the fact that I was not aware of the amount of records at Analogue Production you can choose between 33 1/3 and 45 RPM versions. I wasn't aware of that. Now I am, for certain reasons, and I really take advantage of it, because both have good arguments. Very good arguments. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you for your time and see you on the next one. Bye.